Everyone knows we're in a cost of living crisis, and as I have talked about numerous times before, the government knew this was coming. They could have had policies in place, and when it started to bite more and more, and more, shall we say, Tory MPs were starting to get letters from their constituents saying how much trouble they were in, and other industries and businesses saying, "Why aren't you doing anything to help?" And then Rishi Sunak only acted probably because Boris said you have to do this U-turn on the windfall tax, which again he had told his Conservative MPs explicitly just the week before to vote against. Now they've got to come back next week and well this week and do the vote on it. Um, it's been an absolute disaster, and it's not just here a cost of living crisis. It's happening all over Europe, and because of again various things were coming out of the pandemic, all sorts of different things. You've got the Russia-Ukraine going on, but more specifically in the UK, we've got Brexit problems as well, which are compounding many of these factors, which we always said it would. But here's the thing: Germany, France, the Netherlands, Belgium are acting. They're doing stuff. Their governments are actively doing stuff to try and help their citizens, to ease the cost of their living crisis, to help them through this very troubled time. But because of this bizarre ideology that certainly many of the Conservatives follow, of it's austerity all the way, and I've said before, get ready for super austerity, because that's going to be the Conservative plan to how to get out of this. Yes, austerity worked so wonderful. We're going to double down on austerity even more. Not just double, we're going to triple and even quadruple down on austerity. You think you've seen austerity yet? Wait till you see austerity on steroids, because that is what is coming. So let's turn over to what's going on in Germany and one of the things they've done to help their population with the cost of living crisis. Because, as I've said before, Germany, in particular, and other countries are doing stuff that our government could do as well to help people here. But they just refuse to act. So, as always, before we go jumping into this, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below. So, let's go over to this from the London Economic with the title of Germans Are Getting Subsidized Travel to Battle Soaring Energy Bills. And just recently, we have had a own travel subsidy, but it lasted about 1 month and that was it. And it was designed to get people back to using trains more. But of course, that has more to do with the pandemic and the fact that people have started to work from home more, means they don't used to have to use the train as much anymore. And the government are in a bit of panic about it. And they tried to do this 1 month cheaper travel. And it really didn't work. And by looks of the train numbers, they still haven't really turned to back to normal pre-pandemic levels. So anyway, let's go on with this. So Germans will be able to travel the country for just €9 or £7.50 in British pounds a month for the next 3 months as part of an effort to combat the soaring cost of living. Public transport, including local, regional trains, buses, and metro. That's a lot to cover. Is covered in the deal, which is also aimed at getting people to abandon their cars. In stark contrast with Britain, fuel tax has also been reduced to around 30 cents a litre for petrol, bringing prices down to below €2. The Transport Minister, Volker Wissing, described the cheap tickets as a huge opportunity, saying, "It's a success that we've already sold several million tickets." Germany, like the rest of the world, has been battered by rising energy prices, with inflation up to 7.9% last month. In the UK, half the population still think the government needs to do more to combat the cost of living crisis, the poll has found. And despite the announcement of over 15 billion in new support on the 26th of May, pollster Ipsos found that at least 49% of people thought the government was still not providing enough help to face the soaring inflation. However, that figure is significantly lower than the 79% figure who said the government were not doing enough at the start of May, while the proportion who think the government is providing the right amount of support has more than doubled to around 25%. Catherine Paley, the research director at Ipsos, said, "There are some encouraging signs for the Conservatives in these numbers, with a sharper fall in the numbers of Britons that think the government is not doing enough on the cost of living. There has also been a small increase of support for the Chancellor Rishi Sunak following his announcement for more help. People are still divided, though, on whether he's doing a good job, but the number of think that he's doing a bad job has fallen from 37 to 32%. Of course, the opposition continues to lead on both managing Britain's taxes and public spending and reducing the cost of living. Some 40% of people trust the Labour Party more to manage taxes and spending, compared with the 34% who trust the Conservatives, while Labour's lead on reducing the cost of living is even wider at 13 points. There has been little change in the party's relative positions on managing taxes and spending since March of 2022, with the trust for the Conservatives in the mid-30s and trust for Labour in the low 40s. Trust in the Conservatives on reducing the cost of living has increased slightly from 25% in early April to 29% this week, but trust in Labour remains in the low 40s. Mr. Penley added, "With Labour still more trusted on an issue and almost two-thirds not trusting the Conservatives, there is clearly more work to do for the Conservatives to try and convince the public they have the right answers on the issues that the public are most care about." And of course, as we said before, it took them so long to actually act on this. They really do not care about any of the issues that the public are generally interested in. So I do not expect any more action on this at all. I expect them to go, well, we've done the windfall tax. Time to quote, move on. That's the cost of living crisis sorted. Meanwhile, it's only going to get worse. Rising food prices, still a problem. Inflation, still a problem. They're doing nothing to address any of the underlying problems that the UK has been facing well before Brexit even happened. And even going right back to 2016, we said if Brexit happens, it is going to only increase the more problems that the UK is facing. And here's the thing, the UK was always facing problems that were solely and only the UK's alone. And the Conservatives continue to just go, la, 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 la. We continue with this bizarre ideology that we've had of, free market fundamentalism, don't do anything and somehow it'll all be fine and dandy. But while all the time you're seeing here things with Germany subsidizing not only just train travel, but local travel, all kinds of stuff that is going to have huge impacts for their population. Huge on a very positive basis. I mean, could you imagine if the government decided to subsidize local transport and got more people on buses? That would be fantastic for so many people across the country. But the Chancellor doesn't even want to even consider doing something like that. But of course, as always, thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.